Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Secure Rights. I'm your host of Get Rich 101. Get Rich 101. And I am an author. I just want to plug this real quick. This is my most recent book, Hack Your Pain Now. Hack Your Pain Now. Get it. For those of you who are complaining about it not being in paperback, it is now available as a paperback. So it's available as a what's it called? A Kindle book and also paperback. So I got you. I got you. Hack Your Pain Now. Check it out. All right. Now, we only got a half hour, folks, so it's going to go fast. So let me get to my guests very quickly. Let me introduce to you Blake. Here we go. Hello, man. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty good, Tico. How's it going?
Good, good, good. So we had a few technical difficulties, but we got it. We got it. We here. We here.
Rocking and rolling. That's all that matters.
Let me get my background together. Ta-da! Bam!
Okay,
Bam.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So please introduce the people to who you are and what
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. So my name is Blake. You can find me on social at Brinks Trades. Go by either. But I'm a day trader. I've been day trading for about 10 years now. And so
Okay.
have a proficiency over, a few different markets. And really, one of the things that I do, in addition to personally trading is also, show people how they can create, an opportunity financially for themselves in the markets.
Oh wow, that
Yeah.
excited people. That excited people. That lasted a bit. Showing people how to do it. That's exciting for us. So let me explain who we are. So we are a group of people who are trying to get their money right. That's where we are. We're trying to get our money right. So we just now heard about Forex and we're trying to get our minds wrapped around it, but we ain't ready. Like I saw how it caught you was I saw you interviewed by Calvin.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw the interview and I was like, what are they talking about? You two were so like lively with each other. And that's why I decided to reach out to you because of your energy. But I was like, I do not understand anything they're saying to each other. I don't get it. And then I saw you on Trader Trader Nut.
Trader Nut podcast. Yeah.
Yes, I saw you on that. And listen, folks, I told you guys about it yesterday. I told you about it yesterday. But my man is just sitting there talking about the trades, and I was like, what is he talking about? I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it, right? So I need you to give us like a little. Oh well, first, tell us something exciting because we got to get our people inspired. Like, so tell them something inspired that you've done in the Forex world.
Yeah. So I would say there's a couple of things. I'd say the biggest thing, the biggest accomplishment is getting funded by prop firm companies, which I can kind of dive into. But
Okay.
prop firm companies
Okay.
essentially.
Time
Okay.
out. So funded and prop firm. You got to define those terms for us because we
Yeah,
brand new.
we can break it. We can break it all the way down. So basically, getting funded. Basically, when you become really good at being a trader, or really proficient at being a trader, there's companies out there that will fund you, meaning that they'll provide you capital to trade with, in exchange for a profit split on the profits. And so, over my journey, I've had the opportunity to really hone my skill set and become really proficient in trading. So much so to the point that I now have certain companies willing to lend me, capital to trade with, and in exchange for a profit split on whatever I make. So it's a way to take your skill set and amplify it, without you having to put up tremendous amounts of capital.
Do you have to put up any capital to participate in this?
So there's like an evaluation that they make you go through, and then that's something you have to pay for. But then when you pass the evaluation and they can see that your skills are valid, they refund you those amounts, and then you actually get access to that capital. So
they refund you the amount that you put down.
Yep. So it's really just a test to see if you're good at what you do, and then really, because I mean you can't just trust anybody with your funds, right? So you'd have to kind of put somebody through the test to see that they can say that they actually do what they say they're going to do.
Okay. All right. So
Mm.
just give us a sense of how much we're talking. Like what's the average amount for these companies?
Yeah, I mean, they range. I mean, so really it just depends on, the amount of capital that you feel comfortable trading. Um, and so they range anywhere from I've seen, five or $10,000 in the low end to hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen traders like myself be funded millions of dollars. And so when I say funded, obviously it's in the account. It's not your money, you're not taking it, but it's money that
Uh,
they give you to trade with and in exchange for the profit split. So let's say if I have an account and I make $10, just it's a random number, but like I make
right.
$10, they'll let me keep a certain percentage of that. So like 70 or 80% is usually like the industry norm, and they'll take the 20%.
Okay. So I gotta just one more thing. So
Mhm.
uh a couple $1,000 is gonna be rich for my crowd. That's gonna be a lot for my crowd. So
Okay.
are there any buy-ins that are lower than that, or is a grand the cap?
No, oh, in
Buy,
terms of
buying in to
yeah,
be
so
this
when
price.
when you're actually going for these evaluations, they don't charge you the
Oh,
amount that they're going to give you. They charge you like maybe a few $100 to $1,000 for whatever the size of the capital that you're trying to audition for is. So, for instance, if you're trying to trade for like $100,000 account, it would cost you like $500 to go through the evaluation period. So it's
okay.
not it's the trade-off is that it's a more affordable. They're not going to ask you for 100,000 to put down to see if you can
Okay.
trade. So it's nothing that
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was get worried about. All right. So anyway, I interrupted your big story. So tell us what we got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, like, so I guess the biggest trade, that would probably one of trade. I guess that would be kind of like the biggest highlight of my career is really getting access to that capital. But I mean, trading wise, obviously, results are going to vary between persons and individuals. You kind of have to make the disclaimer up front. But I've been in situations where I've had big days, is anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 grand days trading.
For a
So
day?
yeah, in a day, yeah,
For a
and not
day.
even a full day, like an hour, 2 hours. Um,
Let's just emphasize that, folks. Let's emphasize that. So my man had a $15,000. That's what you said.
it was closer to 20 in a day. Yeah,
$20,000 in a day in a couple hours. That's incredible. That's incredible. Now see those all those bills that came lumped on me. They ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for
right.
that. I would be like ah
There you
ah,
go. There you
you
go.
know. But yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I had a stroke and I'm learning everything. My speech is a little bit off, and I'm trying though. And I'm trying to do a little better. Do a little better. All right. So yeah. So I just wanted to point that out. And look. I want to point this out. We got a question from my fiance. $5,000 to $15,000 daily income trade. What? Did
Yeah.
you say $20,000 in under a few hours? Powerful testimony. I
And
share.
and I do want to make the disclaimer that that's not an everyday thing, right? So it's not like I sit down every day and I print 20 that like that's not a thing. So that's like all-time highs, career. But I'm in my position in my career, it's easy for me to sit down and find opportunities to make, I'd say like $2,000 to $3,000 a day when I sit down for
Okay.
a trade.
Two or three
So
thousand dollars a day. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I heard you say with Calvin that you still have a marketing job. Is that still true?
Yeah, so one of the things with trading is that, it's not guaranteed income, right? So um you're gonna have days where you make money, you're gonna have days where you lose money, right? And so the main thing is on the days you lose money, you're supposed to control your risk. And so that's kind of the main thing. The big thing with trading is you're always looking at your risk to reward, which is like any business, any entrepreneurial endeavor, right? You sit down and you kind of map out like what the risk to reward is. So there's gonna be days where you win, there's gonna be days where you lose. But to kind of offset that, I do keep a marketing job. And so marketing is something I'm really passionate about. And it's one of those things where I went back to school, I got an MBA in
Oh
marketing,
wow.
and I've had the opportunity to work with like big companies on marketing campaigns like Warner Brothers and Caterpillar,
Wow.
the construction company, and stuff like that. And so, um, working with those, that's just a passion of mine. And I also, it kind of tapers off like the feeling that I need to make all my money in the market, or I need to risk it all for one trade, or make it all, and I might know when
Mm,
my bills are paid, right? And so when you
right.
trade and when you participate in the financial markets, there's always going to be this idea of like, and I think everybody kind of thinks about trading as this thing where it's like a get rich quick scheme, right? And it's
Yeah.
not, right. So it's something that takes a long time. You have to develop the skill set, but if you develop the skill set, it rewards you, for years to
Mm,
come. If you, again, I can't guarantee that, but a lot of for a lot of people, it's managed to pay out. So yeah, so I keep a job. Long story short, I keep a job just to kind of help taper some of the emotional sides of trading and some of the ups and downs that can come with that as well. So
yeah, that sounds amazing. So, uh, did you go to grad school while you were trading? Like, were you able to pay off
so
your grad school?
yeah, so I actually oops, what was that? Sorry.
Are you
So
trading right now?
yes,
Are you trading right now?
maybe
Oh
off.
wow, that's great. That's great. That's
Uh,
cool.
but yeah, so I guess long story short, so I've been doing this for like 10 years now. So I first picked this up when I was in undergrad. So I'm 31 now. When I was wrapping up undergrad, was introduced to day trading, and at first, it was one of those things where I was like pulled aside, and someone was like, "Hey, you should try this out." It's stocks, or it's day trading, and I'm like, stocks and bonds, like I've never heard of like that stuff, and I thought you needed a lot of money to make money, and that particular market was forex. And so since then, I trade a bunch of different markets.
Mm,
And so if you're not familiar with like the different financial markets, everybody knows stocks and, and bonds and things like that. But there's a bunch of different markets with a bunch of different assets. What I mostly trade now is indices. So and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones and the S&P, and those are kind of like the big financial instruments. And all of those is
okay,
okay.
kind of.
Maybe okay, maybe not. So if you watch TV, and they'll, a lot of times the news segments will kind of mention this every day. It doesn't matter if it's local news or like
Okay.
national news. They'll say, "Oh, the Dow closed at like 300 points
Okay.
down," or like
Yes.
they'll say the
Yes.
Nasdaq closed, right? And so
Right.
those are the markets that I more trade now. I do look at some forex markets still. And if you're not familiar with what the forex markets are, all that is just currency exchange. So if you go to a different country and you
Right.
have your dollars in your hand, you can
Right.
exchange those for a different currency. And that's all forex trading is. It's currency trading. But
Right.
there's different markets that kind of suit different people's lifestyles, and yeah, I mean, you usually pick one that kind of aligns best with what your internal temperament is, what you can handle, and then what's like financially what you can afford to invest.
Okay. Now I just got to know: are you
Yeah,
trading right now? You really doing it while you
I might,
speaking?
I might be, I might be, I might be. Yeah, I'm in a position right now.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah,
So you can do it kind of like freelance, kind of, yeah, I can figure
yeah,
this out.
yeah. I mean, for me, like there's certain hours, there's set hours that I sit in front of the screen and actually take positions every day.
Okay.
Um, and so I kind of map those hours out. But depending on your market, depending on the asset class, which is you're trading, which that would be like forex or indices or stocks, or you know there'd be different times that you can trade. And so forex specifically is a 24-hour market. It's 24/5. So you can sit in front of the chart and trade in the middle of the night. You can trade in the middle of the day. Like it's open, pretty much to whatever your availability is.
Yeah. So you just got me. I got to ask a personal question now because
Okay.
last night I was in the stocks. I was in the forex trying to find my way around, and I discovered that I can't find gold on MT4. Like,
Okay.
why can't I find gold, or do I trade gold on TradingView? Do I do not use MT4 at all?
So that's a broker question. So when you talk about
Mm.
being able to find gold, it depends on what your broker is. Some brokers, so what a broker is basically just like the middleman between the market and you, right? And so they're the ones that, like, when you hit buy or sell, they're the ones that are taking your orders to the market. And so
Oh,
different brokers offer different, I guess, pairs or assets to trade.
mm.
So you're the broker that you have specifically through MT4, which is a MetaTrader 4, which is a platform for forex trading. That they might just not have it available for that particular broker. It's not really a platform issue; it's a broker. So there's a lot of different terminology that
Yeah.
you.
Well, thanks so much for giving me a very simple answer because I was all last night I was still trying to figure it out,
Yeah,
trying to figure it out. So thanks for giving me a straight, straight no bull answer. I
so
appreciate that.
that's what I'm here for.
Okay, so let me ask you, since I did just went deep in for you people, for viewers, sorry, viewers, I had to get that question asked. Now, let me ask you this. What is your first, like your very first piece of advice? Like early, like I said, we're just being introduced to Forex, just getting started. So what would be your first piece of advice?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been doing this for coming up on 10 years now, and
Mm,
one
10
of the
years.
things, yeah, 10 years. So I started this my
Wow.
senior year of college,
Oh, wow.
2014, 2015. So, um, and there was a lot of ups and downs, and there was a lot of stuff that I did that, if I was teaching now, because back then this wasn't popular at all. Like there was a lot of nobody really knew about this, and so there wasn't as many resources online as there are now.
Mm.
Um, and so my learning curve, if I was starting today, my learning curve probably would have been cut by, at least 2/3.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but I would say overall, there's a lot of like stuff on the internet about getting rich quick, and all that type of stuff, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like there's some people that pick this up and they get it very fast. But I
Mm,
would treat this skill set like you're going to school, right? So I would map out a
mm,
time frame that says, okay, cool. If you were to go to get a college degree, right? It would take you 3 to 4 years to get that. You got to go through your preliminary classes. You got to go through your major, all that type of stuff. Um, and so for me, how I would approach it is, take your time, like
mm.
really invest in somebody or like an education program. There's, a multitude of people that teach people. I'm one of those people included.
Oh, you
Um,
are.
yeah, no, I definitely mentor people on the side. There's, um, I have a Telegram chat where I post a lot of my analysis and kind
Okay.
of breakdowns, and then I have an even smaller mentorship group that I work with specifically, just teaching people
Okay.
how to do
I
this.
have to ask, as I cross my fingers, how much do you charge for that?
So it varies. I'm restructuring this. This is a
Okay.
new thing for me. I just picked it up in
Okay.
the last year, and so um the last year was kind of me testing a lot of things out, like how I wanted to teach, like what's my teaching style, and all these like
Mm.
educator things that like you wouldn't think about being on the other side just taking the class.
Yeah.
So um so that answer is probably going to vary, but there's
Okay.
different uh like options, I guess, that I'll have this year coming up for people
Okay.
that learn, because I've seen like a crazy demand for this. So but yeah, so I mean, the number one thing is take your time, find a good
Mm.
educator that knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing, and then can show you results that they've had specifically. Like I wouldn't trust anybody online that has not can't show you what their actual trading looks like. And so there's the big problem in this space where people can take, like how you mentioned MetaTrader, they can take a bunch of demo trades, post them, and say
Yeah.
they're real. And really in actuality they have no idea what they're doing. They're just trying to like get you to
Right.
buy a course, right? So
Yeah.
um
I feel like I'm just beginning to understand that
yeah,
because before when I would go to Instagram, I would be like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. But now I'm like, oh wait a minute now. Now that I won't go into details for the sake of my audience, but that thing doesn't look right. That thing
yeah,
doesn't look right. So I
yeah,
think I'm getting the hang of it a little bit.
yeah. I think it's one of those things where if you ask, if you were, if a hedge fund came to you and said, hey, we'd like you to invest your money into us, right?
Mm.
They would say, here's our returns, right? And here's what we've been able to do as a company and as a hedge fund. This is why you should invest with us. Boom. And then if just the same way as if you're a trader, right? Like, or if you're trying to learn from somebody,
Mm.
um, you shouldn't you shouldn't be able to partner with somebody unless they can show you that they can actually do what they're saying they're doing, and over time, because anybody can get lucky hitting a home run once, but consistently over time, can you predict where the market's going to go, or be able to take advantage of price opportunities.
Okay. So aside from going with you which I'm inviting people to do. I'll give you time to spill your beans. But aside from that, how do you tell? How can you tell if someone's a real person or not? How can you tell?
Yeah, I mean, I think just having consistency in their results. And so like one of the things that I'm doing right now, because I think that it's a huge problem as far as
Mm,
like traders or like these educators not really being who they are. And it ultimately just wastes time because you learn from
right.
somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and you apply a strategy that doesn't work. And next thing
Mm,
you know, you wasted a year or two or three or four, in my case, like 4 or 5, trying to figure
right.
out what's going on. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is be more transparent in my own personal trading. And so I have, like, for this year, I've documented pretty much every. I'm currently going through a couple of evaluations for those prop firms that I mentioned right now, and I'm documenting every single trade. So every week I give an update to my chat and say, this is how my
Oh wow.
performance this week. This is where I'm in track to passing these evaluations, and then I also do live streams every week, and I map out publicly where I think the price is going to
Wow.
go. And so if you look at any of those, and I think I've been out of 52 weeks last year, I was right, I think like 44 or 45 or something like that.
Wow. That's
um
great.
yeah, so like I publicly put my opinion out there and I publicly say, okay, this is what I think price is going to do. And if you find that I'm correct and you find that um you find value in what I'm doing, then I invite you to come learn from me. But I'm not going to ever put my, just say come learn with me without, giving you some type of results or more in-depth, reasons as to why you should. So
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause right there a little bit early and let you give your spiel. Tell us where we can find your Telegram and these things. Let's get that done now early. Get it out the way. So let's go.
yeah. So I have a Telegram. I guess we could probably share the link. But a
Oh yeah.
Telegram chat that basically, I do all my analysis in there. Anybody can just hop in there and if you have a Telegram account, it doesn't cost you anything to do. It doesn't cost you anything to be a part of that main chat. But you can see everything that I've done since I started the chat. So it's been a year. So I
Okay.
opened it up June or January of 2023, and just every week outlined. And so I post a lot of my trade analysis. I post my trading itself, updates to the market. Every week I do a call on the Trading Nut podcast, like you mentioned, every Saturday, and I do a live call where I invite anybody to come on. They're not my students; they're just any random
Wow.
person. And I
Really?
publicly say where I think the market's going to go for the next week.
Okay.
So you can find it there.
So any person like me or somebody who's a little more savvy?
It's not my channel, so it's a public YouTube channel. So like
Okay.
I had a chance to do that interview and Trading Nut. His name's Cam. Cam is the host of the podcast, and
Okay.
he's a real cool guy. And he basically allowed me to come on that platform every week and do live breakdowns. So usually we get about 1,000 people over the course of a weekend to tune in. And so it's an hour call, 30 minutes to an hour. Do that every week, but you can publicly go back over time and see, if I was right or not, and so you can
Okay.
hold me to that. And then, yeah, just social media. So at
Okay.
Brinks Trades on YouTube and Instagram.
At Brinks Trades. So for those of you looking, there's Brinks right here. There it is, spelled out, and
Yep.
just add the word trades.
Brinks.
So
Yep. INX.
could you type in the private chat the URL for the Telegram,
Yeah.
and then I'll copy it from there, and I'll blast it out to everyone. So
Cool.
while you're
Cool.
doing that, I gotta hit you with this question because this is a good one. What's your suggestion for dispelling the get rich quick scheme? That's a big one. That's a big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Authenticity. And I think it's just being authenticity or authentic in your in how people explain stuff. I think people get turned off by day trading, especially forex. Forex has had this kind of like get rich quick kind of mentality to it for the last, I don't know, like 5 or 10 years. A lot of people didn't know what it is. For some reason, a lot of people think it's a scam. They think it's not an actual market, but it's been a market that people have traded for like 100 years, 30, 40, 100 years. So I think just get taking away like the expectations that one, um you're going to get rich quick if you do this and you learn this. Two, Not everybody is going to be profitable at all. Trading, there's a lot of emotional factors that go into trading. I can teach you my strategy, but you might not be able to execute on it because your emotional factors aren't in check, right? And so as
Mm,
traders, we always talk about this idea of fear and greed and balancing those things out. Being greedy, trying to hold for every last dollar, and then being fearful that you're going to lose your money. And so like you're as a trader, you're constantly balancing those things out. So I try to paint an accurate representation of what it really means to be a trader, um, and not really focus on like the getting rich quick. It's kind of like playing sports. Like I grew up playing ball, and
mm,
as a kid, you when you think about going to the NBA, a lot of people maybe might think about this, but for me, I was trying to think about how I can be the best basketball player ever, what it would feel like to, you know what I mean? Like
the
what it
best
would
ever. Best
yeah,
ever.
the best ever, or like what it would be like to compete at that level, right? I never really focused on like the idea of being rich going to the
Yeah.
NBA. It was always like, I love this game, I want to play. And I think trading is the same way, where it's like if you focus on just making money,
Mm,
you're not going to go far. But if you
mm.
focus on trying to learn the skill set and be the best at what you do day in and day out, then there's an opportunity for you to really, succeed. So yeah, I think it's just paying
Ooh,
accurate representations.
that's good. That's good for me too. Me too. That's good. All right. So let me ask you one quick question. What would you suggest for someone like me? Like I've got so because of the stroke, my brain doesn't work as well as it used to. So that's hard for me to say, but my brain doesn't work as well. And so I'm trying to figure out some ways that I can approach trading forex in I don't know a builder block kind of way, like a builder block kind of way. But what's something you can give me like some way that I can I guess trade, but I'm looking for something smaller because I've heard you. I've heard how deep you go, and I can't go that deep. But something small. Oh, how about what would I need to get 1% on a trading firm? Like what was that? How can I get that
Yeah.
one?
So I'll even raise that and kind of backtrack that a little bit. So
Okay,
like
good, great.
as someone that is you're very brand new to this, right? And so like all the technical aspects that you heard me and Calvin talk about, that's a decade, right? That's a decade of know of looking at the computer and being like, dang, I messed up, and like
Yeah,
now I gotta start all over again, and like the years, it's years of taking wins and losses and getting the feel for stuff.
wow.
Um, so I wouldn't even start with how can I make 1% a day. The question
Okay,
we'll be starting with is how can I get good knowledge and uh, build good habits, right? It's like
mm,
if you're a little kid and you learn how to shoot cockeyed like this,
yeah,
then it's gonna mess your form up when you get older, right? And then you got to re-break it down and learn how to shoot all over again. And
right.
so I think the biggest thing is getting good expectations, good in good form, meaning that like you learn from somebody that knows what they're doing, or find resources. It doesn't even have to be a person, but find resources that actually accurately teach you how to approach the markets. So I would say that would be for you as someone that's brand new. There's websites like Baby Pips. If you're specifically
Great.
interested in
Yep,
forex, Baby
yep.
Pips gives you a good understanding of like what is a candlestick, what is a forex pair, what is a euro, what is a yen, what like all those things, and it kind of breaks it down. And
Yeah.
then once you kind of understand like that, I'd say sign up for TradingView, get a TradingView account. It's a free
Yep.
application. Um, and really, at that point, this is when you'd start to seek out education as far as like a strategy, right?
Okay.
um and so like once you kind of get that, so I would suggest, you can put together your own strategy, but for me personally, mentors, they cut my learning curve in half. Even after going through some bad mentors, the good mentors cut my learning curve in half. So
Oh,
finding a good someone that's solidified with the trade results is the next big thing. Someone that can actually do what they say they can do and is willing to show it. That's somebody you should be learning from. And then you should, once you're applying that for months, and you're getting used to seeing that strategy play out over time, then you can start talking about 1% days on a practice account, and then
practice.
you got to get the belief level up, and then you can start doing 1% days potentially on a real account. So it's like so you should be thinking you know, like how can I make this a business, or how can I, you know, how like what is my business approach to this, right? It's like Amazon. I talked to Calvin about this. Amazon wasn't for 15 years. Amazon didn't make $1 in profit,
Right.
and so
Right.
it's
That's crazy.
playing the long game. So that's what I would do if I was you or anybody that's in your similar position. Is forget everything you've seen about making money. Ask yourself, does this interest you enough to want to learn how to be good at it? Because
Gosh,
90% of people fail at this. Then that's totally transparency. 90% of people fail. 90% of people fail also starting a business. So you got to think, if you're going to be in this to win this and be good at it, you gotta put the work in early and not necessarily think about the dollar.
Okay. That was a great answer. That was a great answer. Yeah, that was a good answer. So thanks so much to you for coming, Brandon, and speaking to us. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. And yeah, thanks so much for being able to give of your time. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
For sure.
Yeah, folks. So remember that now is better than perfect. Is that my thing? Yes, now is better than perfect. Now is better than perfect. And hopefully we'll get Rinks back to talk more about his strategies soon. All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So I'll see you guys later.